Hey everybody. If you're watching this video, please be sure to click subscribe and be sure to like the video. So we're back for another review of the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 7 Reunion Part 3. We done finally got there. There's a whole lot of moments we were waiting for and moments we never got, okay? Anyway, so, all right, we start off with me and Jacqueline. Child, I'm just going to tell y'all this. This is what happens when you take personal relationships and friendships to a platform that it does not belong on. And it's going to make it very hard to make this right. And the reason why is because it's hard when you can always play back what somebody did to you. Anyway, so me and Jacqueline, Mia starts saying to Jacqueline that she's unhinged, and Mia's like, well, unhinged is not the word. I was like, Mia, you wouldn't know what word to use. Never mind. I don't want to start. Jacqueline says, so let's talk about how you are unhinged. Let's talk about how you sent out that group chat that my house was in foreclosure, that I need to worry about my food stamps. I don't know why that was funny to me. I'm not making fun of people that's on it, but just something about it just seemed like, Mia, was that the best read you could come up with? That's not really even believable. And that's not the kind of thing you really want to throw at people when we know that you were a stripper and you were a stripper out of necessity. I don't think you want to throw those daggers at people when it comes to money. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, even if it was true, that ain't what you want to do. And Mia, that was all the way foul. If it was a group text, you meant to embarrass her. Okay, that's what you meant to do. And why would you send it to the other cast members? Like, y'all are not in the same friend group. Okay? These bitches don't know her. Anyway, so Mia, when she said, well, I don't start it. Don't start now. Well, be none. I said, okay, bitch. I was like, I can't mess with these two. I know this argument really ain't going nowhere. Or so I thought. Okay, so then Jacqueline talks about how the things she thought she knew about Mia weren't even true. And Mia was like, name it. That's always a mistake, Mia, if you're not ready for what's about to come. Okay? So Jacqueline wasted no time. She said, you were never the CEO of your company. Gordon was. And Candace is just being extra. These bitches have no loyalty. Now, Candace, you were right about that. Anyway, Robin was looking all hard and nervous, like she was afraid somebody was gonna call her out about that whack ass hat business she got. But girl, don't worry, wasn't nobody checking for that. They don't give a fuck whether you a CEO or a packaging expert. Anyway, for that lame ass hat company. Then they start bringing out these printed papers, some from her little glitter Michaels box for Mia, but Jacqueline came prepared. It was clear Jacqueline did a lot better in school than you did, Mia. Yeah. So Jacqueline has all these text screenshots of when Mia claimed she was with Jacqueline's mother on Mother's Day and how she's a liar. And Mia said, you're right, I wasn't. But I was on the phone with her for about an hour. I was like, first of all, are we really going back and forth about this? And two, Mia, bitch, you did lie. Okay? If you said you were with somebody's mother and you weren't with them, you know what the fuck that implies. Or maybe you don't. Shit, because you're so damn stupid. Anyway, so Jacqueline said, you were telling me not to sleep with married men. Jacqueline didn't appreciate her reputation being besmirched like that on Bravo. And I don't blame her because people see this kind of shit and they see you in the street and didn't believe it. Anyway, she was like, Mia needs to worry about her own whereabouts because your husband, Gordon, called me when he was trying to figure out where you were when you were in Atlanta and thought you were supposed to be at a wedding and he was thinking you were with a married man. I said, oh shit. That's mighty, mighty detailed. I know Jacqueline ain't lying. I don't understand when you have accusations like that, and granted, we don't know at the time these people are filming, but how come they didn't ask Gordon about that like he wasn't in the back room? That's how I know it's true. Anyway, she was like, okay, then Mia goes on to say, well, no, that's not what happened. I went to brunch with my ex-boyfriend's mother, and that's what he got upset about. Mia, ma'am, the milk is clearly not clean at this point. Say less, boo. Say less. Because even if that was what he was eventually upset about, it was probably only because he really did think that originally you were with someone else. Okay? And let's not act like it's above you. Anyway, Jacqueline cuts her off and says that her point is that her own husband doesn't believe her lies or trust her. I said, ooh, Ooh. And see, it's different when you get two people who you know are like real friends and real close because you know they know each other's business. Anyway, um, so Andy asked Jacqueline if her and Gordon ever had sex. She said no. I mean, she was very flat out and clear. And she said that narrative was placed out there or whatever. And so Wendy was like, so y'all just ran with it? And she was like, I didn't run with anything. She said that was the narrative that some of the ladies on the show believe. So here comes weak ass, bitch ass, fucked up ass, kinda has a husband, don't have a husband who we don't ever see ass Robin. Okay? Comes, well, y'all were kind of coy about it. Then Giselle jumps in and starts talking. The way y'all bitches jumped in, and Jacqueline did not address y'all and did not even call y'all by name, says y'all some guilty motherfuckers. Let's just go ahead and let's address that, okay? Also, Giselle, you should avoid turning your head from left to right on camera. Because I noticed as an individual, okay, it was obvious to me how bald headed you're getting on the side. And your side profile makes you look even more and more like the Grinch, like I've said before. And I'm not sure why you insist on the blonde weave or the weave at all, but I'm suggesting that you eat some humble pie, and I want you to go to Karen's hair doctor and really get some help because Cal is not doing you any favors. Okay? Okay. All right. So then Giselle says, well, as a grown woman, if somebody asks you if you slept with somebody, you should be able to say yes or no. I was like, bitch, as a grown woman, you should know it's rude and disrespectful to ask somebody who the fuck they've been sleeping with, especially if it ain't your damn husband. Whose fucking business is that? I was like, you don't get the fuck out of here, you trifling asshole. Yeah, Giselle, I'm talking about you. So Mia says that she doesn't have a sexual relationship with Jacqueline. She says she takes showers with lots of her girlfriends. Candace Face said it all. There's something not hygienic about that, at the least. But I'm gonna move on. At the least, okay. Anyway, she said that she outed Jacqueline about sleeping with married men, or I think Andy said, well, you outed Jacqueline about sleeping with married men because Jacqueline basically said that she needed more dick. And I was like, and she said, and she came for Gordon. All of this sort of tangentially coming for somebody's husband, Mia, the way you're conceiving that in your mind was also the reason why you threw that glass of water or drink or whatever the hell it was in Wendy's face. And this is a pattern, darling. It's a pattern, okay, of overreactions. Because even if that was the case, bitch, calm down. Anyway, so she says she is the only one on the stage, Jacqueline was the only one on the stage, that knew her husband was a prostate cancer survivor. Karen was like, no, she isn't. She was like, you told me that yourself. I said, ooh. So stop playing, Mia. So stop playing. And no, I don't think that Jacqueline was coming. And maybe she was, but there's a lot of stuff we wouldn't know or have put together, or I wouldn't. So then Mia and Jacqueline use this as an opportunity to come for her husbands. Mia said Jacqueline uses this as an opportunity to come for her husbands in performance. Okay. So first, I'm going to let it go that she doesn't know vocabulary. Because that's kind of an easy, lazy read at this point. Because we know Mia's stupid. But Mia, you also kind of confirmed. That's all I'm going to say. You shouldn't have done that. Anyway, and like I said, Mia, Gordon is becoming a scapegoat for all of your bad behavior or consistent bad behavior on TV, and it's not a good look. Like I said, you claim that being the case when you did that to Wendy, and that's why you threw the drink in her face. You outed your friend for sleeping with married men. And I think we shouldn't even be using the word outing, even though that was the word they were using on stage, because you're not outing someone if it's not true. Okay? And quite frankly, I think the LGBTQ plus community, that word should stay where it protects those people who are really, like, when they come out about something, we can't just go around appropriating that and throwing it everywhere. Anyway, so Andy jumps in and says, well, Mia, how can you tell her to close her legs to married men when you were sleeping with Gordon when he was married. She said, "Well, I should have closed my legs to married men, but I didn't." But see, I admit it. She's denying. That's some bird ass logic if I ever heard it. Okay. I was just like, I honestly think you should have enough shame to deny something like that. I actually think you should not be proud of the fact that you're sleeping with married men. You should actually be on TV, even if it is true. Deny, deny, deny. That is nothing you should be proud of. Girl, bye. Anyway, so Jacqueline said that Mia lied on the show about helping her buy a Porsche. And that Gordon paid for it and all this other stuff. She said because she wanted her to appear as her underling on TV. And Jacqueline was like, I did lie on TV. And that was a mistake. And then pulls out the paperwork to show that she paid for her car by herself. That she's always done it by herself. I was like, ooh. Yeah, Mia, because it's looking bad that her family took you in. And once again, I'm not somebody who believes that because somebody does something for you that you owe them for the rest of your life. I'm not into that game either. But I am saying, Mia, I started out kind of thinking this was just some bullshit, but Jacqueline proves her point. And honestly, the way she walked off stage, like, thank you, it was kind of like, I know I got her. She can't say shit about me. And honestly, this back and forth was sad. And it should have never been on TV. Y'all let your real friendships go to pot on TV for the entertainment of us. We watch this shit to laugh. Honestly, I mean, like, we don't know y'all. We don't give a damn. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and those women on stage certainly don't care about y'all or the preservation of that friendship. Anyway, so we get Sharice's segment. Gosh. Okay, so I'm not gonna even. I resent the fact that I'm even wasting time on this. So shame on me. Okay, so Sharice's segment. Sharice, everybody kept saying, "Oh, you look like Skylar. You look like Skylar." And I was like, well, she is her mother, so I guess Skylar looks like her, but whatever. Okay, yes, Sharice has a daughter that looks just like her, but the child has nothing to do with it. Anyway, Sharice, your dress, you look stuffed in that dress. That hair, that wig glue, all of that shit was fucking terrible. And it looked like a prom style. You had the same thing Karen was going for. Like when I say the hairstyle was just a bit too young for you, although yours looked slightly more age appropriate, but it just wasn't cutting it. And Sharice, you never get it right. For somebody who just admitted you got half in a divorce and you were clearly not broke at any point on this show, or you didn't appear broke, but although your hair gives the impression that you're broke, I guess I'm just saying that, like, I don't understand how on a show where y'all flaunt y'all's wealth, how somebody like Sharice manages to always get it so wrong. Okay, just wrong. Okay. So why the fuck do we care about how long Robin and Sharice have been friends? Like, why? Why did they even give us that bullshit segment? If I hear that bullshit one more time, so what? Y'all knew each other. Okay, whatever. All right, so they start asking about Sharice's accusations. Andy says if he was not cool with someone and they came to a funeral for somebody in my family, it would have been nice to me. And Karen says, look, I refuse to rehash that. She said, I don't want to talk about my mother like that. She was like, and I don't ask that people understand it, but I do ask that they respect it. I think that's fair. And just because somebody didn't have a camera there does not mean that they didn't have ulterior motives. There's people that go to people's funerals just to be nosy. Especially when somebody's had like an addiction or had a rough life. There are people that do that. So I'm not saying that was the case with Karen's mother. I'm just saying that why does anybody do anything? You know what I mean? So don't act like, oh, there has to be a great reason, and if there wasn't, then it's not possible. Bullshit. All right, so Sharice said, why would you invite me to your LaDon Bloomingdale's event and your 55th birthday? And Karen was like, well, Matt invited you. I didn't invite you. I was thinking to myself, first of all, if Matt is your friend, he should have known not to invite Sharice. But we already know that relationship is stupid and looks weird. Part 2. If she invited you to her Bloomingdale's event, though, honestly, Sharice, anybody trying to sell a product is going to invite people they know. That's just what they're going to do. Anybody with any sense. All right. And honestly, I think this shit's a moot point. Sharice, you came on the show attacking Karen about her life and privacy. Um, so even if she did invite you to those events, bitch, you showed up on the show. Bravo may have asked you on, as Andy pointed out, but they clearly didn't check with the viewers because none of us were checking for you. Nobody was happy to see you at the reunion. Nobody is pulling for you like that to come on the show and all of those shit. You bring nothing. If all you're going to bring is, oh, I'm going to bring up rumors about Karen every time I get on camera because I'm part of Giselle and Robin's bullshit puppet group, I just don't like see the point. Like, you're up here. I didn't know we weren't friends. I didn't know we weren't friends. I was like, really, bitch? Because it seems like you had an awful lot of hostility at that point. Anyway, and it left you looking thirsty as fuck. And considering how all of you bitches invite people to scenes and to things that you don't, even people you don't fuck with, fuck you. Candace, why the fuck was Giselle invited to your video release party after she lied on your husband? That should have never happened. So all y'all on that bullshit, like, miss me. All right, so Sharice's bullshit section continues because we have to endure. So Sharice says she started talking about Karen sleeping with a worker because Karen was talking about her. Sharice, so you're telling us you created a story because you felt like Karen created a story about you. And you're almost 60. And you're a mother of adult children at this point. My mother would never. Anyway, so you were lying. Thank you for letting us know. All right, then Mia brings up the rumor about her sleeping with other people. Karen has covered for Mia so many times and given her benefit of the doubt, even though you know Karen knows she's lying. And I felt like for Mia to do that, Mia, I'm telling you, you next. Next season, they gonna wear your ass out. Them two dizzy birds are gonna wear your ass the fuck out because you are next on their list. That's how they operate. You know who I'm talking about, Giselle and Robin. Then we get the preview for this Ultimate Girls Trip in Thailand. Giselle and Candace will be on camera again. This is how I know that this franchise is dying. Whenever they start mixing people up like this, and how I know, like, you know what I mean? Like, this person from Beverly Hills, this person from Atlanta, this person from Potomac, this person from New York, let's put them together and see what happens. Boom. You know, kind of the way they started mixing up Love and Hip Hop on a reunion, because the shit has died. Okay? It's dead, and y'all still trying to make money off of it. But this is also, how I know that Candace is not hell-bent on defending her husband, and that's what I don't like, because as a woman, that's what the fuck you should have done, okay? Or she does not believe that colorism shit the way she says, because let me tell you something. She wouldn't have helped Giselle make any money if she did. They offered that shit to Monique, and Monique walked away from both the Housewives and the girls' trip opportunity, okay? Because she drew lines for her fucking family. Miss, I come from generational wealth. You could let that check go. If you really gave a fuck, if you really wanted to stand for something, get the fuck out of here, Candace. So Giselle told Sharice that she loved her hair on her way up. I said, the compliment's a lie. But also, even if it is a real compliment, it should mean nothing to you because of the way Giselle's hair looks regularly. Okay? Anyway, so they do Robin's segment. Robin, you are so dumb and such a liar and such a bullshitter. I'm almost out of gas for you. I'm only doing this to just cover, okay? Like, just to cover the actual existence of this. All right, so they do Robin segment. So they show how she isolated Wendy's kids with the family fun day and how she got in a lot of trouble for that online. Yes, and you fucking should have, bitch. Because it didn't have anything to do with the kids. And when they asked her, they were like, well, would you have let somebody else take your kids to a family fun day event? She was like, yeah. I was like, you dumb bitch. Don't nobody believe that shit for a motherfucking second. And for you to do that to somebody, just not invite Wendy. Don't try to play that little game like you actually did something for the kids and didn't try to act dumb. What the fuck? Like, I mean, you ain't that stupid. Anyway, Then she talks about the prenup. She said it's 50-50. I was like, oh, okay. Y'all get half and half and nothing. That's great. So they talk about her marriage to Juan and show Giselle's face in the box. I was like, she mad. I wonder why. And I think it's more than an invitation. Okay, okay. So Robin's wedding, her parents were there. She was saying that the wedding was nice, and in hindsight, she was really glad her parents were there. What the fuck is wrong with these bitches? Like, what the fuck? So anyway, Giselle said I really thought she was gonna call me that day and just tell me to come, and she said she didn't, and I was bothered. Okay, bitch. Well, we don't care. Anyway, whatever. Um, with their 50-50 prenup, she said she decided not to have an infidelity clause. She claims she may be setting herself up. Robin, Robin, I know it's embarrassing to be cheated on and played over and over again, especially when you do it in front of the cameras on purpose. Well, you live your life in front of the cameras and then get played over and over again on purpose. But what we're not going to do is play this game like, oh, you got a team of men who's just begging to get at you and shit, and that you might. What kind of way is that to enter a marriage anyway to even say something like that? No, you're saying that because you know Juan cheats and you don't care. Never mind, I'm not gonna start. I'm not gonna start. So they asked Karen why she cared about Robin's wedding, and somebody who's in the question was like, "It's you seem upset." She was like, "I was." Said I can't with this. And she was like, "If you're going to get married, or just stop bringing it up." She kept saying, "We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it in our own way. We're gonna do it." She was like, "Well, do it already." So Robin got ripped. I told you about Robin getting ripped up for that damn family event. Um, so they asked her about the Coppin State allegations about the student athlete apparently who there were some issues with reporting the sexual assault allegations to Juan, I guess as the coach or whatever. And she went around it and said the stuff about Juan though is not true. She said he handled it the way she would want somebody handling things for her children. I said the same ones that you would let go to a family event when you weren't invited and let somebody else take them. Them same kids. You care? Oh, that's the same sort of care you give? No, thank you, ma'am. I don't trust a word you say. Then she tells, I guess the viewer, she was telling us not to judge other people because you don't know where you'll end up in life. Good advice. If you didn't put your life on TV for us to escape. Okay? Okay. So then they have the husband segment. Robin's husband is at work. Isn't Ray a business owner? Isn't Eddie a lawyer? Doesn't Chris have other responsibilities, including 2 school-age children? But Juan's at work. Not Juan stay with the boys because we don't have a babysitter. Juan's at work. Bitch, get the fuck off my screen. So they asked Chris about how he feels. We're going to come back to that. So then they ask, he just says fine for the moment. They asked Eddie about Happy Eddie allegations. And they were saying that they got a lot of compliments. I actually thought it was nice. Like the way they laughed it off, him and Wendy, you could tell they have like a relationship where they just don't worry about shit like that. You know what I mean? And that's how you know it's like solid. And somebody asked, well, who is bankrolling all of Wendy's business ventures? And he was just like, it's a joint effort. But yes, Wendy does dig deep in the pockets. And I'm just like, okay, but they both work. Okay, they both work. We got to give them that. All right, anyway, so G said this was very difficult to watch Mia and her health issues this season, not just watching on TV, but going through with it. He was like, sometimes we had 3 or 4 doctor's appointments in a week, and I felt for him. And he was like, it's one of the most difficult things he's been through. He said they didn't have answers. It was confusing, he said, and then you have to stop and think, maybe my kids might not have a mother. He said, you hate to think that, but like, that's the reality of it. And that can be very scary. Hell, that's scary. Like I've told you, as an adult, it's scary. So, prayers up. All right. He starts crying, but I don't play about those things. So they asked him if he's ever had a sexual relationship with Jacqueline. He's like, she's like my little sister. Like, whatever. According to him, he's never had penetration with me as friends. Okay, I guess. All right, anyway, so we get to Chris's segment, which is what we were all waiting for. So Chris said they start rehashing the shit with him and Giselle. I shouldn't say rehash it, trying to get to the bottom of it. Because the bitch has been lying and she's got nothing but airtime for lying and she knows she's lying. He was like, I asked you to go to the room and you said yes. He said, you're a grown woman and you use your mouth well. If you didn't want to go, you could have said it. I was like, okay, Chris. He said at the end of the day, when you walked in the room and didn't see your team, why didn't you say, I'm not comfortable? Let's either do this later, let's do it in the hallway, let's do something else, right? Giselle starts playing again. Okay, I let you talk. I let you talk. He was like, then spit it the fuck out. I was like, yes, Chris, yes. And you still weren't as mean as you could be. Candace said, no, it's about your gutter snipe bitch ass lying on my family. I said, whoo, go off, Candace, go off. Okay. Now, Giselle says she's not going to talk if he keeps cursing, and that's a game. Okay? That's what people do when they're trying to distract from the fact that they know they fucked up and that they're trying to think of their lies. So I'm not going to talk like this. I'm not going to talk like this. Bitch, fuck you. Okay? Anyway. She still could not say what he did. That's what they kept saying. What did I do to you? And Giselle and Ashley both continue to lie about something. Well, people did say this and people say plenty of shit. What the fuck did he do? Y'all are messing with people's lives at this point. Okay? And Candace's point about this is why other women are afraid to come out about their allegations. And this is why. Because people don't believe women. And then it's like the ones who lie tend to get unnecessary amounts of attention. And that's bullshit. And she was right about that. Then she says, I apologize. And Candace was like, that's not an apologize. No, she said, I'm apologizing. And she was like, that's not an apology. And Chris was like, just let her talk, let her talk. Chris, I'm sorry for what I did to you, or something like that. But then after she said that, then continues to fucking lie on him. And then Candace says, this is about Giselle and her lying, white-looking ass and her proximity to whiteness, and that women who look like me are not taken as seriously as often. I tried with this colorism stuff. I've tried. And like I said, remind me to do that review about Chris Rock's a live show that was off the hook the other night. And I think it's amazing how light-skinned Will Smith tends to get all this support continuously on social media after smacking the shit out of dark-skinned Chris Rock. Because no matter what Will Smith does, he's still the light-skinned nice guy. Nobody can... It had to be a reason. It had to be a reason. That's the kind of colorism shit I'm talking about. Okay? Because these bitches right here be all kinds of here, there, everywhere. Now, Wendy acknowledges that, look, Candace, I know you're angry. I know you feel that way. But since we had a conversation about colorism, we need to be mindful of the words we use on the heels of the colorism conversation. And everybody was like, well, I think that's too far. I think that's too far. I think that's too far. I don't doubt that if you start looking at individual women, black women, but only black women amongst black women, not black women amongst white women. Okay, let's be clear. That yes, there would be a lot of stereotypes about darker complexion women, and there probably would be some scenarios where maybe certain darker complexion women may not be taken as seriously. Based on the history of slavery and the way we perceive people, based on blackness and the anti-blackness society that we live in. I don't doubt that at all. But what I am saying, though, is in that same statement, Candace, you're sitting there with your white husband. And if we're going to talk about whiteness being a level of privilege that elevates what people have to say, you're unintentionally... Because I know you didn't do it on purpose because you didn't think it through because you got angry. But you should think about the fact that if that is the case, if proximity to whiteness makes you more likely to be believed, then does that then make Chris's denial somehow more powerful than Giselle's words as a black woman? She wasn't accusing another black man. You see what I mean? So that's why you have to think about what you're saying. Because honestly, when you said it, I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. I definitely knew what you meant. Wendy, of course, being the smartest of the group, knows how to use her words in such a way that she doesn't like to undermine what her ultimate goal is. Hence why she didn't whoop Mia's ass, okay? Because I do believe she could have fucked her up. Anyway, so Andy asked the husbands basically how they felt about the Miami trips. Ray said no more Miami. Gordon was like, I like the women grinding on each other. I was like, I bet you do. You married a hoe. I mean, like, I don't know what else to say other than you married a hoe. So Wendy and Mia in Mexico. Apparently the story was they got drunk in the bathroom. It's Wendy, Mia, Ashley, and who was it? Somebody. I don't know. Anyway, she was like, well, we showed our coochies to each other in the bathroom. And everybody said, everybody said mine was the prettiest. And he was like, everybody has a nice one. I was like, he was like, y'all can show each other your vaginas, but y'all can't get along. Like, score. One for you, Andy. All right. Anyway, so they asked, no pun intended. Anyway, so they asked the husbands different things before they let them go. They said, well, before we let you go. So they asked Ray what he thought about infidelity. And he just said, I'm really disappointed in the ladies in the way they were, misrepresenting each other and people's families this season. And he just said, that's what I think. And he got ready to get up. And Karen said, no, what, Ray? He asked you specifically what you thought about infidelity. And I need you to say something about that. And I was like, oh, Karen, you caught that. Yes, ma'am. So Ray was like, the rumors are bullshit. Then Giselle said, you haven't seen the picture of you in a bar. And Andy was like, well, what's the big deal, even if she is in a bar? She said, but you want to blame Juan. And I was thinking to myself, and you haven't seen any pictures of that. I was like, bitch, you don't get to talk about any of this shit. You've been sitting here lying on fucking Chris. Then Robin jumps in and says, well, I want to say something, even though Andy asked Ray what he thought before the husbands left the stage. But anyway, I'm going to say something, but she says, well, I want to talk about the sexual assault allegations Karen made against Juan. As Chris said, these can be damaging. I said, hold up. These bitches got to be the most flip-floppingest, unbecoming, can't make up their minds when it comes to anything selective outrage having bitches I've ever seen. Robin, like, didn't open her fucking mouth when Giselle was sitting on that couch. Right then, we're not talking about all them other scenes, lying. And now all of a sudden you give a fuck about these kind of allegations and people misrepresenting them. Like, get the fuck out of here. Karen has an HR record. Ray said, yes, she was uncomfortable, and he talked her out of reporting it because he knew the implications. And look, it turns out, hell, Juan is still in a whole host of trouble relating to a similar issue. Now, I don't know all the details because they haven't all come out, but I am saying that where there's smoke, there's fire. When it happens like that too many times. I'm neither judge nor jury, but I'm just saying, I think where there's smoke, there's fire. That's all I'm going to say. So then we end with Candace's whack-ass single, Insecure. Candace. That shit sounded worse this time, and I think because I wasn't even distracted by poor visuals in a video to make fun of you. Like, now I was stuck with this whack-ass music. And that fake-ass dancing they did, they must have been drunk at this point. Like, it was just bad. It was bad. So then we get Robin's extended footage of her fucking lies about her fucking life and her fake-ass fucking wedding. It's a sham of a marriage. It may have been a full wedding, but it's a fake-ass marriage. And I say fake-ass not because they may not have a piece of paper, just because it's just whatever. She starts telling us that this woman came from Canada. Here we go. Lost her wallet in a casino, and he paid for the hotel. She was down there to meet with a Ravens player. Andy's looking at her like this. The woman who was like also on Watch What Happens Live was looking like this. Like, we were just like not. He asked if she ever saw correspondence between them, and she said no, she didn't. He's like, did you not want to see it? She was like, no, I believed him. I was like, Robin, I don't think Juan wants you like that, but I also don't think you want Juan like that. And I think what annoys me is that it's so obvious to me that y'all don't want each other, but y'all are trying to convince us that we should think that by continuing to be on this show with this bullshit. Okay? Just divorce, co parent, take a lifestyle dip, and build it back up. Okay? Trust. Everybody has been through down times, and anybody who hasn't, keep on living. Anyway, she said that was not the reason for their long engagement or whatever, the infidelity. I was like, I bet it's not. Shit, that's something regular for y'all. He brought up how Robin talked about other people's infidelity all throughout the season, and she was like, well, that's different. He was like, well, you talked about, you know, basically Ray's marriage. And she was like, well, no, I was talking about Karen. He was like, well, Ray becomes collateral damage in that case. And you're talking about this one and that one. And I'm sitting up here like, yeah, bitch. And you wouldn't imply that about Eddie had Wendy not dealt with it the way she did, you and Ashley. So what the fuck? So then he brought out how Robin talked about, I mean, not that, but he asked her, he was like, this bitch basically couldn't answer shit. He was like, are you tired of like having to publicly defend him? And she was just like, sipping on margarita that wasn't in there, sipping on ice water. Like, well, I don't feel like I'm defending him all the time. I just feel like I'm defending us. Bitch, aren't you tired of defending y'all? You know what? I'm glad these bitches are going off our TV for a little while because we need a break. Look, I have enjoyed hanging out with y'all. I'll be reviewing some other stuff. Please be sure to like and subscribe and put what you think down in the comments, what you thought about this. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.